Okay, here's my $30 haul for this Christmas budget. I wanted to do a ham, so that's why I increased the price by $10. Normally I would do a $20 budget, but I cannot have a Christmas meal without the ham, so I went ahead and got some ham for this meal. This is not like a typical ham that I would normally buy, so this is just kind of what I had in my fridge. Also, I needed to use it up, but it was a little bit smaller, which is going to be perfect for our family's size because it's just going to be us eating, the 6 of us. So I think this is a perfect ham for us for this budget. Okay, so over here we have some butter. We have 3 cans of corn. I needed like an Italian style, but I just have this like mozzarella and Parmesan. I think it'll be suffice. I need a dozen eggs. We're gonna need about a pound of some cheddar cheese, or you can do Colby Jack cheese, some panko breadcrumbs. We need half and half, or I even thought about doing evaporated milk. So anything that I'm using half and half, or you can sub in evaporated milk. I love using evaporated milk for like making mashed potatoes and different things like that. I just love it. I think it has a great taste to it, so that's just my preference. Though I needed some potatoes. We're going to use about 3 pounds. This is 5 pounds, so we have more than enough. And then we need 2 to 3 pounds of broccoli. So definitely the first thing that I wanted to get started on was the ham, just because I wanted to put it in the crock pot. I always put my hams in the crock pot. Sometimes I need like an oversized crock pot, but I definitely always do it that way. I usually do some type of like a fruit juice. Usually I do with cherries, but that was a little bit more on the pricey side, so I just used like a little bit of orange juice I already had in my pantry, and then also a half a cup of brown sugar. I'm putting that on low for about 5 hours. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my broccoli. You need 2 to 3 pounds of broccoli. Go ahead and chop that up. You want to make sure that they're chopped up pretty fine. Or, it doesn't have to be, but that's kind of our preference. So it's definitely whatever you want to do. I definitely would prefer this to be chopped up even more than what I did in this video. I cooked my broccoli in a big soup pot or like a Dutch oven, and I'm going to cook that for about 10 minutes. You just want to make sure that that broccoli is nice and tender and cooked through. And then while that's cooking, I'm going to get started on my sauce. So I need 1 tablespoon of butter and then about 2 tablespoons of garlic. And I'm just going to give that a good stir. Next, I need 1/3 cup of flour, and I'm just going to get that stirred through completely, get all that butter and flour. You want to make sure that it's getting that flour cooked through properly. So you want to make sure to cook that for about another minute. I have 2 cups of milk, and I'm going to stir that. I'm not going to add it all at once. I'm just going to add it a little bit at a time, making sure that all that flour is mixed through a little bit of the milk at a time. To add half a teaspoon of pepper and then 2 teaspoons of mustard. You could do regular mustard or like a honey mustard. It really doesn't matter. The recipe calls for a Dijon mustard, so I really don't think it matters a whole lot. Whenever it says mustard, I kind of just add whatever I have on hand and call it good. Giving that a good stir. I'm just waiting for that to thicken up. Once it's thickened up, I'm going to add 2 cups of shredded cheese. You want to do like a white cheese, so like a mozzarella or an Italian blend would be fine. And then we're going to add 1 cup of cheddar cheese, giving that a really good stir. Now that our broccoli is cooked through, I'm going to put it back into this big Dutch oven. I'm going to go ahead and put that cheese mixture that we just made. We're just going to mix that right in that Dutch oven. And then just making sure that that is stirred through really well. And then we will take it off the stovetop, and we're going to put it in a 9x13 casserole dish. So I lightly sprayed my casserole dish. I'm just going to put it right in there, and then I'm just going to smooth it out because we're going to end up putting a whole cup of panko breadcrumbs, which I actually didn't end up putting the whole thing, and I definitely only suggest putting 1/4 of a cup to 1/2 of a cup because it was just a lot of breadcrumbs. And then I put 2 tablespoons of butter right on top of that, and that definitely could have used another 2 tablespoons, to be honest with you. Putting this in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes. Now I'm going to get started on a casserole called Scalloped Corn, which is a fun twist to a corn casserole. To my medium bowl, I need 3 eggs, and then I need 1.5 cups of half and half. An 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then giving that a good stir. Once that is well combined, I'm going to add 3 cans of corn, or you can add 2 cans of regular corn and 1 can of creamy corn. I think would be absolutely delicious. 1/3 cup of panko bread crumbs, or if you want to do some Ritz crackers, that's completely up to you. I need 2 cups of cheddar cheese or Colby Jack cheese, and then giving that a good stir. To my 9x13 pan, I'm going to lightly grease that, and then I'm just going to pour everything in my bowl in here, and then I want to make sure that that is nice and even on top. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese on top of that, and then another 1/3 cup of panko breadcrumbs, or if you want to do a whole sleeve of Ritz crackers, that would be delicious as well. And then I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of melted butter right on top of that, and I'm going to let it cook at 325 for about 20 to 30 minutes until it's nice and cooked through in the middle. Up next, we're going to be making some dinner rolls, and this recipe said that it can be done all within 30 minutes, and it definitely was, but the texture of it was not really what I was looking for. So I chose this specifically just because it was going to be a quick and easy recipe, but to be honest with you guys, it was not my favorite, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyways. We have 1 1/4 cups of water, 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of yeast, and then giving that a good stir and letting that all foam up. And then we'll put in our egg, a whole teaspoon of salt, and then 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. And then the total amount of flour that we're going to need is 3 3/4, but towards the end I ended up using a little bit more because it was just super sticky and it was really hard to work with. And it said to avoid putting more flour in there because it's super sticky, but I could not do anything with it, so I ended up putting probably another 1/2 cup in there. So it's, I don't know, maybe it's just my climate, I have no idea, or maybe it's just the type of flour that I buy, because I do buy like a nicer, like organic type of flour, so I don't know. But I'm trying to roll up these rolls, and it's supposed to make about 15 of them. I like to spray my pan, and then it says to spray your hands as well. That way you have a little bit of oil on you so that the rolls will not stick to you. But they still stuck to me, and they were just really hard to work with. So I tried to do the best that I could, and yes, it definitely made 15 rolls. They were very decent sized rolls. Once you get all these rolled up, you're going to place in the oven at 375 for about 20 minutes. While I was making my rolls, I was boiling some water for some mashed potatoes. So once I put my rolls in the oven, I was able to get started on my potatoes, and I like to add like a lot of half and half, a lot of butter, usually some sour cream, but that was not in the budget this time, some salt, some pepper. Sometimes I like to do a little bit of paprika, but this time I was making some cheesy mashed potatoes, so I put in quite a bit of cheese. I had a little bit of cheese still left over, so I'm just kind of blending that together, and definitely a little bit of garlic will go a long way with those mashed potatoes. And then here is kind of some final products of what everything's looking like. My ham, this is the broccoli casserole. The scalloped potatoes turned out absolutely delicious. You can see everything is hot and fresh out of the oven. Most of the things came out pretty close to the same time except for the rolls, so I was very happy about that everything was getting done about the same time. And then here are my rolls. They're not like super like brown on the top, they are pretty golden brown on the bottom, so they're definitely done. They're done on the inside, and this is kind of what it looks like on the inside. They're just kind of dense, and so just not my typical go-to when it comes to a roll. But here's everything and what it came out to. My family loved this budget meal. It was super good, and it's just such a simple and classic Christmas meal that you can make for your family for about $30. Now, if you wanted to do like a chicken, that is going to save your family a lot of money as well. But yes, it's definitely doable. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you do, give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing below, as it will help my channel out so much. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. See you in the next one.